Bhagavate Shri Arunachala Ramanaya.
Yat param sakalavad agocharam gocharam vimalabodha chakshusha shuddha chedganamanadi vastu yat brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. This is from Vivek Chudamani of Shankaracharya. The Supreme Brahman is beyond range of speech, but it is known only through the eye of pure illumination, which is pure consciousness, which is beginningless entity. That thou art. Please meditate on this.
Thank you. Eye of pure illumination. We all know that we have these two eyes looking outside. And eyes are one of the main sources of our discrimination and analyzing and judging and also interest, apart from smell and hearing and touch. But I'll tell you, there is another eye. It is known as inner eye. We all have that inner eye. And that inner eye actually controls these external eyes also. And that inner eye, when get established in the self, in that God within us, then what happens is these external eyes see but don't see. It takes away vasana from the eyes. Like everything attracts opposite sex, food, clothes, or whatever it could be, whatever your desires. All attraction drops immediately. All attraction. You don't get rid of one thing and then next thing, as some people might be knowing yamas and niyamas of Patanjali Yoga Sutras and following them. Here, everything happens in that flash of a light. The moment that inner eye is blessed with inner seeing, these external eyes don't register anything the way they used to register before. Then these eyes become desireless, vasana rahit. And these eyes then have no control of their own. Same thing which was enticing, which was very attractive, could be seen, but it loses that attachment where the mind used to go with these eyes and used to get attached. The vasana and your karmas don't start when you do an act. The moment you have interest in that act, by just looking through your eyes, you already have done that sin, whatever it is supposed to be. Any vasana, any attachment coming through the eyes are right now, if you don't have that inner eye established, seeing the self, it is governed by the mind. The moment inner eye sees the source, control of mind over the eyes is gone. These external eyes becomes like vestigial organs. They are not taking any rasa from seeing. It can still see, it can see a movie, it can see beautiful things, will not look ugly. But there is no vasana, no attachment, no attraction. And I'll tell you, this looks very simple, but it is the ultimate truth. Inner eye opens, inner eye sees that self, and external eyes lose their all abilities. And what is the product of it? What is the a person, a sansari, a worldly person can ask, what is the benefit if these eyes are not appreciating whatever interest? It is disinterested viewing. What is the benefit? The biggest benefit is that you are in supreme bliss. Bliss not because of seeing things which we were getting in the past. Why people travel to so many places to see beauty, external beauty, valleys and whatever, lakes and ocean and whatever. Because these eyes are looking externally to gain some pleasure. It's not that the beautiful things will not look beautiful with these eyes, but there is no attachment to anything. If the scene changes, you will not feel bad. Like in Australia, all the time people are talking about weather. There is an obsession with weather. When it's raining, it's too much raining. When it's hot, it's too hot, always. And when it is good, actually, we appreciate also. But what I'm trying to say is, it is just these eyes which are always external. The moment that inner eye sees that God in our heart, it gives control of external eyes also to the heart. I don't know, I can't say, still being a neurologist, I can't explain this phenomena. How the brain circuits changes, or I don't know, no one has seen on scans that yes, different parts of the brain gets activated, that's all we know. Because what is the seat of mind? Mind uses brain, but brain is not mind. And when the command of mind is gone, then all these sense organs comes in direct contact with self, with that awareness, which is raw. And because it is raw and pure, it actually washes away all the sins of all these, because these organs are not having any sin. It is the mind which tries to derive pleasure from these sense organs. Once that mind surrenders to that inner seeing through the inner eye, then all these organs are also having shower of that blessings from the self. Middlemen gone, they become pure. It is pure seeing without any judgment. Beautiful things looks beautiful, but those so-called ugly things also look beautiful. Once we see that inner self through that inner eye, there is no interest in any petty desires. Even the eyes becomes lazy to register anything more than what it can just see, as if that software is gone, which was judging, which was analyzing in the past because of whatever vasanas dropped. Everything becomes pure and clean, as if after the first heavy rain everything looks so fresh, so new. It looks like all the fogginess is gone, everything is clear and clean and pure. This is all that miracle of the jewel in our heart. Keep your attention on that. Our attention does magic. It unfolds. This self talks to us so loudly, and its presence is felt so much so that the one who knows it has no doubt. He can have doubt about anything outside external, because these eyes can deceive. Some people are colorblind, someone can have some sort of blindness or double vision or whatever. But this inner eye, when it gives darshan of that self, you have no doubt. Before having darshan of self, knowing this self, whatever we think, that is a reflection. All life keeps going in a reflected image, colored by mind. Only when we are interested in truth, in reality, then our journey starts outside this dream. When we talk about reality of the word, or the word is unreal, and a lot of people talk about Bhagavan's teaching that you can't know the self till you see this word. But see this word as real. Until then you will not know the reality. But don't worry about any concept. Don't make any concepts. Just keep your attention on your heart. Not what is being projected through sense organs or what the mind is saying. If you can start staying in self without taking help of sense organs and mind, someone can say that if I keep my attention on self, not keep thinking, keep planning, keep doing, then what will happen to my life? How can I manage my life? How can I be wealthy or more money or name or fame? How? To me, the answer is, where are you right now? Maybe you can say, my life is miserable, I am suffering, I have no money, or whatever, life of suffering. My answer to that question would be, if you have mismanaged your life until now, how can you improve it? Better you give up what you are doing. You don't know how to manage. That's why the life is so miserable. Now let's stop managing. Let's give to some higher power to manage. That's what about the job is. If someone is incapable of job, then the job needs to be given to someone else. So then stop doing what you are doing and just keep attention on, know that you are incapable of managing this world. That's good. And if you are convinced, then put your energy here. Other person can say, no, I have done all the good things with my mind. I'm one of the richest persons, or I have everything what I desired, and I'm a self-made man. I don't want to give up my mind. I have got everything because of it. I would say, if you have managed so well, then let's retire now, because you already have everything. Then what is stopping you to retire? You should be the first person to retire. You should be the first person to retire if you're really smart. Because now you have gained everything in this world. Okay, one job done, tick box. Now let's go within. And you have accumulated enough to sort out your day-to-day stuff. And anyway, one day you will retire from whatever you do. Everyone retires from a job. So if you have gathered enough of whatever, you are the best one to retire right now. Bring your attention to the self. Now what excuse is left? I'm telling you because mind gives excuse after excuse after excuse for you not to know reality. Because knowing reality is death of the mind. Death of the game, this leela, this play going on. It will continue, but you will be out of it. Understand, this is a serious matter. And whom I'm trying to convince, I don't know. Maybe your mind. Because that self is always the same. But what you think you are, that is a myth. And that myth will continue till you are slave of your mind and your senses. The moment you have darshan of the self, you know that you are bodiless. And your sense, all these sense organs have no power to trap you. That is why they call it freedom, liberation. Liberation from what? Liberation from our own bondage. Apart from your own practice, apart from listening to someone who has tasted that liberation, and scriptures, which are also written by people who are liberated, there is no other way to know it. Sometimes there can be flashes of that liberation, which we call as satori or sudden experience of enlightenment and then it goes away. Glimpses. And sometimes we know when we come closer to someone who is in that state, or even someone who has lived in that place at some stage, which we call as pilgrimage or temple or mosque or church or a place of worship. Because of that pure intention of people going there, they're putting that energy. It unfolds there. When you go there, you can get tuned to it if you're open to it. But without your interest, it will not happen. That is the thing. It's not like you have no interest and it will come to you. And I would also say, even if you have interest, it will not come to you if you have 100 other interests. Because the whole idea is to bring that same attention within. And if you have 100 interests, your attention will be going to those things. Sometimes we sit in contemplation, sitting together in silence, and as soon as that time is over or we say, okay, we have done, people can't stop talking about something completely different. Because mind, it was death of the mind. It was suffocating in that energy, mind. And it knows your interest. It is with you for so long. It knows you in and out. It blackmails us all the time. And you get into this trap. But if you keep your attention, which is the inner eye, on that self, you start listening to it. It talks to you. Its talk is not in form of any words or thoughts. It talks in form of silence. It talks in form of pure fragrance of bliss and peace and in unending joy. And it talks in form of unconditional love for everything. And it talks showing its own innate presence in everything around you. Everything becomes important, or you can even say everything becomes unimportant. Because for us, important things are with whom we associate or attracted to or possess. This is the best pilgrimage, our heart. Start loving yourself. Start this tapas, this practice in solitude. When you're alone, you speak to 100 random people, not even one person will tell you that I love my solitude. If someone says, I love my solitude, you speak to them, they will say, yeah, I love reading a book. or sewing or watching telly alone or having my coffee alone. Like some action needs to be there, even alone. Because that's what the mind is. You know how many apps are there? Mindfulness and meditation apps. And then people suffering, coming with anxiety, depression, and there are psychologists and mindfulness experts, and even us, we tell people, to use an app or see a teacher and do it. Most of the time they will say, oh, look, I tried, it didn't work, or yeah, I tried, yes, it gives me a peace. Not much change. Because this interest in that is grace. When the mind is showing big tantrums and it has gone to that other extreme, where he is giving you panic attacks and all sorts of problems, because the mind is being abused or misused so much, now to return from there is a big task. A simple app people put in their earplugs and lie down in the bed 10 minutes each day. How can it fix it? It needs more intensive training. And all this is possible when we have interest in it. If the person who needs has no interest or less interest or can't keep focus there, then how would it work? And the teachers, meditation teachers, you can do 20-hour course, 40 hours course, and you become a meditation teacher. You yourself are full of ego, mind, and then you become a teacher by holding a certificate in hand, and then you guide others. And then you start another meditation teacher training course, and then you become teacher of teachers. Perhaps you can also do PhD, and you can write dozens of books on meditation. Or perhaps I believe that type of meditation have different goals and aims. To just decrease anxiety, maybe elevate your mood, keep you a little bit happy, manage life. Here we are trying to throw out the manager out of the window. There they are keeping the manager intact with all the bandage and bruises and all. We just try to keep it. Here we are throwing him off, manager out of the window. Reality is so close, but so far. closest. It is us. It is actually closer than mind. Mind comes and goes. No mind in deep sleep. Thoughts also have gap. Self is constant, eternal, unchanging, all the time. Yet we keep missing it because of these external eyes focusing on everything around us. So-called religious people or spiritual people, they become more religious than spiritual. That becomes a big worry actually sometimes. Very ritualistic. There is no harm in going to pilgrimage. But the problem is we think pilgrimage is the goal. Even wherever you go or not go, your attention should be here on your heart. When you sincerely, with humility, you keep attention, you will understand where that attention needs to be. Then these hundreds of things which keeps coming to the mind to sort out, everything disappears. Nothing is actually left. People call it emptiness, but it is fullness of bliss. Emptiness means that there are no thoughts, that's all. We have tried to please people around us, employer, employees, networking. Now do this last networking. I'll tell you, if you do it sincerely, everything what you wanted from external networking, you will get from internal networking. And it's not a big networking, it is just with your own self. By paying attention there. No need to follow any teaching. Once you understand truth, that you have to do this, then start doing it. Pay attention on your heart. No need to compare notes and keep going from guru to teacher to this. No need. Everything is inbuilt. God is very, very kind. He has given all that what is needed to know self. Only thing you have to develop is your interest. That's all. If you have interest, you will know it. Whether you are at home, I talked initially about solitude and when you're alone, keep attention. But then this process becomes so intense that even among people or doing an act or busy or even argument with someone, though I'm pretty sure anyone is abiding in self should not be arguing, but let's say an argument is there. Your attention will not move from the self. Your attention means it becomes so powerful because of your own attention. And then you will not know, but one day it becomes so natural that you forget that you were doing any practice before. And you know why? Because this is our natural state. Mind is deceptive. It has created this illusion. What it is showing, we only believe on that. And we keep missing reality all the time. Satsang is nothing but reminding you to stay in the company of truth. Truth is always in your company, but you are not in company of truth. They say that you move 2 steps, God moves 4 steps. I would say God is already there. You just have to move. He is only waiting for you with open arms to hug you. As soon as you know you disappear, that power of that self is so intense in which person cannot survive. The moment you have darshan, that is only left, and you disappear. How this will happen? This will only happen if you give up what you think you are doing. And it is not about stopping the act, but stopping the doership of act. Some people, they keep thinking all the time something, and they are walking on the road and their head strikes on a pole. And then they say, oh, I was just in my thoughts. They are on the other extreme. So you stay attentive to the awareness and whatever doing. You are not going to hit the pole because you are on the other side. You are in so much of awareness where no thought is surviving. You're walking but not thinking. You're eating but not thinking. You're working but not thinking. I have no clue about these meditation techniques. I am telling you the technique of abiding in self. Who cares about mind? The best control of mind is abiding in self, paying attention to self. People say Bhagavan's teaching is self-inquiry. I will say that is Bhagavan's secondary teaching. First is to just be. Silence. Summa Yeru. Just keep quiet. That is his first teaching. And that is his last teaching for a person who can understand. Just keep quiet. Self-inquiry, self-attention, all these are, if you don't understand, silence. Because God talks only in silence. When people go to Arunachala, sometimes first time in their life they understand this silence. It is a huge magnet. Biggest self in the world. Self in a form. I also know people who have never been to Arunachala, but they have contemplated Arunachala by photo, by name, by knowing its glory. Even that has helped to the same extent as one goes there and do. It is a guru in a form. And the other guru is here in all of us, in our heart. But once you understand your own self, you abide in that. Arunachala also looks the same self as it's talking to you in silence. Form is just an illusion. It is that pure energy. You know, some egoistic people say, my name is enough. In Hindi, it looks really good. They say, mera naam hi kafi hai. Like, you know, egoistic people talk like that. Just tell my name and the work will be done. I would say that is what Arunachala is. You just take name Arunachala. One thing in the word with form, whose name has so much power. Arunachala. Keep your association with all those things through which self is emanating, oozing out. Because self is also very infectious. It percolates in satsang. It elevates your own inner energy. It unfolds within you as if in satsang grace touches you. Yes, sadhana we all do in solitude and we should continue, but it gives a booster. Because satsang is nothing but remembrance of self and abiding in self. And when there are so many beings intensely devoted to it, it becomes a bliss of self, exponential bliss of self. There is no difference of time and space in it. At this moment, everyone is blessed with that energy. That is power of satsang. We all know how company affects our mind. If your company is in self, then you know what it will do to the mind. It will leave no avenue for the mind to survive with vasanas, with attachments. They always say company of holy men is important. Who are holy men? Holy men are those people who are in search of self, always remembering self, or they are in that self. Don't confuse yourself, holy man, with some attire or garb or something. We are not talking about religious men. Bhagavan never gave importance to your external garments. Wearing robes or whatever. He gave no importance to it. Feel that energy within you. It is talking in silence to all of us all the time. We say surrender to it. What is surrender? Surrender means you have given up to worship. And with folded hands, you are okay whatever life gives you or not gives you. Sometimes I feel Bhagavan was more sincere than any spiritual seeker I've ever seen, even after attainment. One day I was reading about someone who met Bhagavan for the first time, and he said that day there was a very little something they distributed among themselves from a pot in morning, and then by evening no food was there. And he said no one was worried except me. He said I was having hunger pangs. And Bhagavan realized, he said, you go down, you have money, you go and eat something and come back. We people are used to hunger. And he said nobody moved to find food. And he said, when Bhagavan said, I said no to Bhagavan that I am not going anywhere. But he said, I kept thinking about only food. And he said, after maybe an hour or two of that conversation, he saw many people coming up to the hill bringing food. A lot of food. He said someone had rumor in the city that Bhagavan is very sick and he's going to die soon. So people came there to see him last time. That was a rumor, and people brought a lot of fruits and things. I would say if you don't know what tapas is, keep reading Bhagavan's stories. That will help you to understand what is important, what is not important. How to end this doership. And Bhagavan has no reason to be like this. He was in bliss. He was in bliss when he was at home. So many people, if you check new books coming on Bhagavan or YouTube, so much of misinformation, or people think he was doing tapas and then he got enlightenment because he was doing tapas in caves. He was not doing any tapas, he was just enjoying his supreme bliss. If you have some patience and perseverance and continue in this attentiveness to the self, slowly you will start feeling this peace within you. Just don't stop. Continue your attention there. You will not know when effort becomes effortless. Pay your attention to self to exclusion of everything. Don't stop till the divine God is revealed in you. Don't give up. This much faith I want from you, that have faith that there is something. Because one thing is sure, no one is born without self. God is kind enough to give self to everyone. Because self is the source through which everything is manifesting. This mind, this whatever word you see, that self is God. That is in everyone. Please don't give up till your last breath. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing or not doing, whatever the situation is, remember yourself. Pay attention here. What mind does or not does, or what it gives you, not gives you. For whom you want to do whatever you want to do. For whom? Self is complete and you are self. So for whom you are doing what? Why all that busyness? All practices in this world keeps the mind and talks about stress reduction, stress management. They don't say stress finish, stress booster, mind destruction. No, no, no. They want to keep it because they have so much of vested interest. They just want to manage it. Keep the ego alive. Keep everyone's business going on. Meditation apps, meditation teachers, and all sorts of rubbish. Anti-anxiety, antidepressants, antipsychotics. Keeping doctors busy, psychologists busy, everyone busy because it's a business. And the second thing is nobody knows. Nobody wants to finish the story. Teacher like Bhagavan